So we're back with our second show of the Championship Transfer Show, and I'm really interested and excited to do this episode once again. This episode is going to be in 3 parts. We're going to discuss the signings that have happened since my last transfer video. Check it out if you haven't seen it. The second part is going to be on the rumours that I've picked out. And the third part is going to go through some comments that were left in my previous video, which I'll discuss in the end of this video. If this has been uploaded on a Wednesday, I can only apologise. Some unexpected events have happened on the Tuesday. So if this is going to be released a day later, I can only apologise on that on my part. But as always, if you like what you see, you want to continue this show, we're about halfway through in the transfer season in January, of course. Please make sure you do give this video a like, it is massively appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't, or if you're new around here, all of that will be fantastically appreciated. And share the channel to as many football fans and as many Championship fans as you can, all of that will be tremendously appreciated. But without any further ado, let's begin the transfer show number 2. So we've got a handful of signings to go through. One that was pretty much confirmed in the first episode was Scott Sinclair to Preston. I think that could be a positive signing for Preston. It can definitely fit the void for Daniel Johnson, especially when he's been injured and when Preston have been missing his quality. Preston have struggled, so maybe Sinclair could be a really good backup option for that. Kieran Ludwig has joined from Salzburg to Barnsley on loan. He's 19 years of age, right back. I said that Gerald Struber needed to make defensive reinforcements. I think that might be a good signing for Barnsley, actually. In one of Ben HD's recent transfer videos, I put out a comment saying that Marcus Gouet looked like he was going to join for Swansea, and he did exactly that. He's joined on Swansea on a loan as centre-back. For what I've seen him, he does look like a really good option. I mean, for Swansea in their defence so far, I don't think it's been a huge issue, but it's a good backup option. Played in 2 games, he's played against Ajax in the Champions League in the Johan Cruyff Arena, and he's also played against Manchester United when we unfortunately lost in the League Cup. Both games he looks really, really good and actually really promising, so I think he could be a positive signing for Swansea, I think. Huddersfield were really busy at some stage in the transfer window from my last video. They got 2 signings in a matter of 2 hours. First, Emil Smith-Rowe from Arsenal joining on Huddersfield for a loan. I think that'll be a really, really good signing for Huddersfield. He's played a little bit of games for Arsenal already, so he'll be quite fresh. And you've also got Richard Stearman joining from Sheffield United on a free transfer. Obviously in 32 now, he's not featured at all for Sheffield United, but cannot undermine the work he has done to bring Sheffield United up to this level. He will offer Huddersfield with some invaluable experience. And to quickly go through some outgoings recently, we had Tom Elliott of Millwall joining Salford on a free. Marcus Brown, who's been heavily involved with Middlesbrough recently, he's joined Oxford on a loan in the league below. Max Honton-Darby has joined Carlisle on loan, and Josh Hell from Preston has joined Ipswich on loan. And one of the biggest confirmed signings was a managerial signing, Thomas Frank signing a new professional contract till 2023 following his fantastic form with Brentford and with them being one of the favourites to get promoted. He had a difficult start, but the board did very well to stick with him, and he's developed a philosophy, and eventually now the BMW in front and the midfield and even the defence have all sorted themselves out, and Brentford can play very, very well now, and that's down to the man management from Thomas Frank. So I'm really happy for him, happy for Brentford, and I think he can have a really positive future at Brentford. I think he really can, and maybe he actually might be in the Premier League, whilst Dean Smith might now be in the Championship, which is absolutely madness. And these are the main high-profile signings that have happened between my last video and this one. If I've missed anyone out, let me know in the comments down below. So now we get to the second part, and this is a Championship rumours, and we've got a lot to cover through today. So the first one's Tyrese Campbell, and this was really interesting. I didn't think Campbell would be linked with many clubs, but actually Rangers and Celtic, the top 2 Scottish clubs, have both displayed an interest for this striker. Recently, he's been one of Stoke's better players, came the closest to scoring against Millwall in the weekend. I think he might be a big loss for Stoke, although in that area they do have options like Sam Vogt, Lee Gregory as well. So it may not be the biggest loss, but I think they really need to keep Tyrese Campbell in the form he's in at the moment. I think Stoke cannot afford to let him go. Marcus Olsen looks like he's joining West Brom from now to the end of the season. Obviously being released as a free agent from Swansea last year. He's a little bit older, but he could offer some experience and could be a like-for-like replacement if Kieran Gibbs gets the odd injury now and again, because he's quite injury prone. I thought Victor Camarasa was going to join Cardiff after his Crystal Palace loan was just a disaster, only featured like twice. But he's decided to join Spanish side Alaves. I think that would be a more sensible move for him. I think he will get game time there. Jack Clarke was one of the main rumours in my last Championship video. Recent developments show that Queen's Park Rangers are now the favourite to get Jack Clark. It looks like he wants to join Queen's Park Rangers in the thought that Luke Amos, also Spurs, is on Queen's Park Rangers on loan from Spurs as well, so they can work together. But Rangers, Middlesbrough, Stoke and Millwall have all shown an interest in him, so it'll be interesting to see if Queen's Park Rangers do get this deal over the line, because they've got plenty of competition. Darren Randolph looks like he will be joining West Ham, even though, on quote from Jonathan Woodgate, it's the longest medical in history. He's had plenty of injuries this season, which is probably why the medical is taking quite a long time. But I think eventually he will get his medical done and he will get his move to West Ham. And following the recent injury of Lucas Fabianski, I think they need to get this deal done as soon as they can. A name that's been thrown around, and it's another name in the Scottish League, Declan Gallagher, a centre-back for Motherwell, who've had a pretty strong season. He's had a pretty good season as well, getting his first Scotland cap under Steve Clarke. Charlton, Wigan, Swansea and Peterborough want to sign this defender. I think he can offer some invaluable experience. I wouldn't see him joining Bristol City very well, because they've got a lot of defensive options, and to be honest, I know their defence has been quite leaky, but I think that's just the style that Lee Johnson plays in. I don't think the defenders are at fault for it. He can be a good fit for one of the Championship clubs. Now, Burnley recently had an interest in Nicholas Eliasson, but it looks like now they've turned over to Josh Brownhill, and recent reports hearing that they could be offering up to £6 million for Josh Brownhill. I'm going to leave a poll. Is £6 million enough for Josh Brownhill? For me, he needs to be at least 10 million for me. With the contribution, the role he plays at Bristol City, he's their talisman. I think he would need more than 6 million for him to go, personally. West Brom has shown interest to Mislav Orsi. If they can get him, this could be a really good signing for West Brom. I've seen him a little bit in the Champions League. He scored a hat-trick against Atalanta with Dinamo Zagreb. Obviously, with Slaven Bilic being Croatian, he'll know the Croatian influence he'll have on him. If they can get him, that'll be a real good coup for West Brom, I think, because he scored 11 goals in 18 games. With Luton Town, they were linked to Devante Cole, obviously Wigan striker. I don't think that deal's come above now. Terence Congolo was linked with Fulham. I think that rumour was completely cut adrift. And the final rumour to go around is Jarrod Bowen. Now, he's going to be linked with many Premier League clubs in every transfer window. It looks like Wolves have been the recent side showing a little bit of interest. Wolves have become a more attractive side now. They're attracting the likes of Thomas Lemar, for what I heard the other day, which just completely mind-blowing. It's completely crazy how fast Wolves have actually grown as a team and as a project. They could potentially get Jarrod Bowen. They'll have to match his fee. It'll be, I say, at least £20 million for Bowen. It's going to be really difficult to let him go. Obviously, previously linked with Spurs as well. It'll be interesting to see Bowen in the Premier League. I think slowly but surely he is starting to attract more interest, and eventually I think he will get to the Premier League. So now we get to part 3 of the video. Obviously, 2 comments were made in my last transfer show. If you want to leave a comment for this show, make sure you do leave your comments and discuss the views of your transfer situation with your club. I'll include it in the next transfer show, where I'll offer my opinion and my views on it. So, the first comment is going to be from Joshua Jones, frequent viewer of the channel. He says, wish we would get Nketiah over the line. Obviously talking from a Bristol City perspective. And Marcus Maddison would be nice. Heard we were possibly going for Sam Hutchinson of Sheffield Wednesday as well. Right, so Nketiah is probably going to be the main talking point in this whole video. We're still uncertain where he's going to go. I don't think he's going to have a future in Arsenal in the second half of the season. He will have a loan in some perspective, but where is a completely different question. I know Nottingham Forest, Bristol City and Sheffield Wednesday are all interested in signing him. Sheffield Wednesday I think will be a good fit, especially when Fletcher being injured. He could be a good like replacement for Steve Fletcher. Bristol City, obviously they've had the unfortunate situation with Afobe being out for the whole season. He could be a good replacement for him. And with Marcus Maddison, it looks like recently he has agreed a deal with Charlton, which surprises me that that's the club he's gone to. West Brom, Nottingham Forest, Sheffield Wednesday, Bristol City, they're all interested in Marcus Maddison, but he's chosen to go to Charlton. I think he can get some game time with Charlton. I think he could. I'm really excited to see how Marcus Maddison copes in this league, because he's been one of the best players in League One so far this season. I think he can add a load of quality and be as positive as Andre Green was in the midfield. I think it was also needed because I think I found out today that Conor Gallagher has been recalled by Chelsea. So I think they really needed to get that signing over the line. I think he'd be a great replacement for Conor Gallagher. As with Sean Hutchinson, I'm not sure about him. I looked at his transfer activity and it's looked pretty quiet so far. There's been no obvious links of him moving away from Sheffield Wednesday. I think he may stay with the club. Maybe next season Bristol City can go and try and get him. He'll add a bit of an aggression, I think, which I think is needed for that Bristol City side. The second and final comment I'm going to go through is from Dark Knight12, another frequent viewer of the channel. He said, I'm a Leeds fan, I would love a top name to come in. Definitely can attract the top name being Leeds United. The name that's been thrown around is Dembele, that being Kaumoko Dembele from Celtic, a gifted youngster who's said to be the next big thing. I would take a loan with an option to buy as Pablo will retire soon, I agree. A striker who's been talked about is Solanke or Wickham. A move to Leeds would be great for both. Dom started at Liverpool yet to prove himself, obviously been on a couple of loans and he's not really proven himself, and it's not really number one for Bournemouth at all, behind Wilson and King, as Dark Knight did say. Wickham is probably less realistic, but yeah, again, he could happen as he would be cheap. Options include Ivan Toney, Zergi from Bayern, or maybe Colin Grant from Huddersfield. Right, so very interesting names in there. Okay, so let's start in with Kaumoko Dembele. Undoubtedly will be a very talented player. I think he's 17 now, I think. My problem with that, he's already attracted so much interest from the likes of PSG, Arsenal, Man United, Borussia Dortmund, Barcelona. They've all looked at this kid. And if they're going to go for this kid again, I can't see Leeds quite having enough more of an attractive offer to get him. But maybe if they leave him isolated for a little bit, Leeds could sneak in and get a bid in there. Who knows? As with Solanke, I think he's actually going to stay at Bournemouth. Judging with Bournemouth's really dire position they are at the moment, they can't afford to let many players go. They've already let go Begovic. They need to make sure they keep as many players as they can. So I don't really see Solanke leaving. Connor Wickham is interesting. Now, he obviously had a load of injuries and had a really long goal drought. He's been scoring a couple of goals this season though. For me, it sounds like he's going to try and get a loan at Sheffield Wednesday, more likely than Leeds. So that'll be very interesting to see whether he does go to Sheffield Wednesday. Colin Grant, I think he might stay around at Huddersfield for a little bit. I think maybe next season will be a more appropriate time to try and get the striker. And in terms of the Bayern duo, I've not seen them play a lot, so I'm not too sure about their quality. But some reasonable suggestions there, and actually some really good shouts. I think Dembele is a really good shout. It's just whether the big clubs are going to continue trying to make bids for him. But that will wrap it up for the transfer show number 2. If there's anything you want me to cover in the next transfer show, make sure you let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed what you see, please make sure you do give this video a like. It's massively appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already, or if you're new around here, all of that would be tremendously appreciated. And please share the channel to as many fans as you can. All of that would be fantastically appreciated. This probably may be uploaded on Wednesday, and I did promise it'll be Tuesday. Sorry, I mean, honestly, this day on Tuesday, and this is when I'm recording this, it's just been so busy, honestly. But I'll wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, take care.